What do you take away? What's your main takeaway from these figures on hate crime?
I think a number of factors. I think there's improved recording now. I think the public are more aware of what hate crime is. And bear in mind, a hate crime can be reported not just by the victim, but by anybody else who perceives it to be a hate crime. So you may well get the situation where someone else reports a hate crime, either on behalf of or for the victim himself, and then the victim doesn't actually want to proceed with it. So, numbers will be going up because the police are getting better at recording hate crimes. As you alluded to, prosecutions are dropping for a number of reasons.
And this goes to the centre and the heart of this whole debate about so-called woke policing and what actually constitutes a hate crime, and whether, in fact, they should be spending their time on burglaries, of course, as we were hearing yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. And everything can't be a priority. Yes, it was burglaries need to be a priority. It's always domestic abuse cases, critical incidents, mental health cases, missing persons. The list is endless as to what becomes a priority. Today, it seems that we're looking at the figures for hate crime. Hate crime is increasing across society. People are more aware of it. They're more keen to report it. The police are keener to actually note the allegations and see where hate crimes are taking place, so they can focus on patrols in that area. But all these reports and recording crimes are going up, yet detections and prosecutions or charges are going down.
Shoulders for recording a hate crime. Can it be verbal? Does it have to be physical? What's an example of a hate crime?
It can be, as you said, it can be physical violence, it can be verbal, it can be threats or abuse, etc. on the street. A number of factors can constitute what a hate crime is, but if it's perceived by the victim or anybody else to be motivated by someone's either race, religion, sexuality, disability, etc., it constitutes being a hate crime, and it's classified as such. So the classification's been honed or listed better now, so forces are recording these a lot better. So as soon as you start recording something a lot more accurately, numbers will increase.
But presumably the reason you go and report a crime is because you want something to happen and someone to be prosecuted, and that's the difficulty here. It's not happening.
Partly people want it recorded because they want it reported as such. They don't always want it to be prosecuted. They don't always want to go to court. And once you start explaining the court process, giving a statement, coming to court, repeating that statement in front of your suspect, and again, you've got the evidential issues of sometimes if it's just words between two people, it's one person's word against another. So quite often the police may feel they have sufficient evidence, but the Crown Prosecution Service are reluctant to charge because it doesn't meet the threshold test for the evidence to get to court. And they don't think they stand a good chance of getting a prosecution. Hence, on some occasions, charges will drop.
And just with what you've explained there, I'm just sort of estimating how much police time all that takes up, and all the forms that have to be filled and all the boxes that have to be ticked.
Yeah, the administration is phenomenal now. If you make one arrest on the shift, that can take you out for the whole shift, whole 8 hours. If you're waiting for solicitors, appropriate adults, evidence to come in, go and get a statement from the victim, statements from witnesses, etc. The whole process now takes far, far longer than it ever did when I was working. So again, the delays that are inbuilt within the police systems, but then come into the criminal justice system. And then when you say to your victim, this may be some months before we get this case to court, if we do get it to court, it does put a lot of people off. And as long as it's been reported, the police know about it, it's on record, some victims are content with that. Obviously, many others would like it prosecuted.